Hey guys, it's Erica and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. So you'll notice on my channel that I share a lot of fashion and beauty related videos, but today I wanted to step aside from that and do something a little different. So as you can tell from the title, it's how to get over an ex instantly, how to move on from a breakup. So I've had my fair share of breakups, so I know how it feels and how it can be difficult. And if you clicked on this video, you might yourself be going through a breakup and trying to figure out how to move on. Or maybe you have a loved one close to you that is going through this difficult time and you want to help them, which is amazing. So I just want to put a disclaimer out there that I am not a therapist whatsoever and not a coach, but I'm just speaking from experience. So I've decided to share 5 tips on how to move on from this difficult time. Without further ado, let's just get right into it. So the very first tip I have for you is to allow yourself to feel all the emotions. I know some of us don't like to feel our emotions and we want to shove them away from us as far as possible. I get it. Sometimes I'm not a touchy-feely person. I don't like to connect with that. I just want to go away and be happy. I get it. But it is super important to feel everything. So you might be really sad one day and then suddenly turn happy, and then midday you're crying. Completely normal. Your emotions are going to be all over the place during a breakup, especially at the beginning. If this one has really affected you, sometimes some people don't feel anything at all, like they're super glad it happened, they're gone. But this is for someone who is kind of struggling to move forward. I always say feel those emotions. Even if you're someone who thinks that they could just get over it really quickly, I think it's super important to get that all out of your system. Your body wants to release that negative energy out, and that way it's open to bring in good energy, the new energy. By allowing yourself to grieve, you are allowing yourself to heal. Once you start healing, you can move forward, and that is exactly what we want to do. We want to move forward. So this is part of the process, and don't be scared of it. Let it happen. It's natural. You must note that not to allow yourself to drown in these negative emotions. Don't let it consume you, because once that starts happening, you're going to be in this negative cycle. We want to get out of that. We want to make that full circle, feel those emotions, and leave. Okay? We don't want to stay in that, because that is just a bad hill to go down. There might be several great days where you're like, oh my god, I'm getting through this, it feels amazing, and then suddenly out of nowhere you have a breakdown. Completely normal, and don't feel bad about it because it happens. Go through the process. You know, I felt good this day, I felt great for these few days, and then I had a breakdown because of this reason. Take note of what might have triggered that, or what thought might have popped into your head, and that way if you're trying to feel those emotions again, you'll be able to say, hey, this is what I thought about last time and this is what it made me feel. And then you kind of change the way you're thinking and your mindset to kind of alter that thought process so that you don't kind of go through that cycle again. You have to remember that everyone goes through this process of healing at their own speed. Someone can do it like instantly, someone might take a few days, someone might take a few weeks or a few months. Fair. Again, remember, do not let these emotions of grieving consume you. That's it. Number 2 is to surround yourself with supportive people. And you may notice that there might not be a huge group of people in your life who are able to do this. Not too many people can, so don't be alarmed when that happens and you feel like people are fleeting or just can't help you. That's okay. As long as you have maybe 1 or 2 core people in your life that can really help you move forward in this, that's great. If you don't have anyone at all, there is always someone on your outside circle who can support you. Maybe you want to talk to a therapist to get everything off your chest, and they will have an unbiased opinion, which is amazing. When you surround yourself with someone who is supportive, they will definitely listen to all of the stuff that is off your chest to make you feel better. So you don't want to be surrounding yourself with people who are just saying like, oh my god, get over it, he wasn't good enough or she wasn't good enough, but whatever. Like, I'm sure like they mean it well, but a lot of the times that's not received well, and we don't want that negative energy around. If that's not something that works for you, I would suggest communicating with someone else who can support you in a healthier way. From my experience, my best friend, I love her to death and she's been there for me for everything. She allowed me to have time to myself where I grieved on my own in my bedroom for a period of time. And when I was feeling good enough, you know, she invited me out to dance classes, we experienced new things, we went to Wonderland during Christmas with her boyfriend, which was amazing. We also tried a bungee class at an athletic club, which was so much fun because we've both never done it before. The point is my best friend was able to allow me to see other things that are out there that are positive, happy, make me feel good. And I knew that. because I knew that if I just sat in my room all by myself all the time, then I would just be thinking over and over again what the heck happened in the relationship, where it went wrong, and all this negative stuff that I don't need to be thinking about. I want to spend my time focusing on myself, the relationships that are very important in my life, and just to experience new things, really. And that honestly made me feel so good, and it just had a snowball effect. So the focus is on yourself and not your ex. I wouldn't suggest surrounding yourself with people who kind of feed you the idea that you and your ex might get back together. Might gets you in your head a lot and makes you think about all these possibilities of, oh my gosh, what if it happens this and that, and what if I do this and that? And you don't want to be focusing on that. The point is to heal yourself and move forward. We don't need to be dibble-dabbling in the possibilities of getting back together with our ex and doing things that will hopefully bring them back to you. No, no, no. If the universe wants you guys to be together, it will happen, and not by force. It just happens. You need to focus on yourself, is that you're not worrying about that. That is something that will happen on its own, and if it doesn't, you're going to be okay. I promise you, you will be okay. So focus on yourself, and trust me, it'll be so rewarding. Tip number 3 kind of falls into what I was just discussing, and this tip is to set some goals for yourself and work towards them. I think it is so important to set some goals for yourself and to have that in mind, because you're going to be focusing your energy on that and achieving that. I'm not talking about setting a massive goal right here. You can, which is perfectly fine. I like to set big goals myself, but even just the tiniest ones, maybe you just want to do yoga for 10 minutes when you wake up every morning, or you want to create one painting a week. Those are all great things, and honestly, it gives you something to look forward to. At the end of it, you'll be able to see how much progress you've made. I myself don't want to be in the same position I was a year ago, and I always like to keep that thought in the back of my head. So during my day, every day, I like to think, how can I make myself better than I was yesterday? And it doesn't mean completely change myself. It just means making small steps to make those changes so that I become the best version of myself every day. And for me, during a breakup time, it's how am I gonna feel a year from now? Do I want to be in the same spot if I'm feeling sad, heartbroken, kind of in this loopy, negative energy bubble? Or do I want to be someone who is happy, thriving, all of those positive things? And I'm definitely going to be choosing that positive side, because who wants to be sitting on the negative side here and wallowing in those sad emotions? You know what I mean? We want to move forward, we want to be thriving, and that is my wish for you. And I promise you're going to be so proud of yourself once you break through this and you get to that point. Trust me. Best feeling. It's honestly a snowball effect once you get the momentum going. When you start working on your goals, you're just going to be like, oh my gosh, I achieved this thing, I want to achieve another thing and another thing. It just feeds off of each other, and that is so good. And of course, I mean to do this in a very healthy way. Don't drive yourself into the ground, overworking yourself. These are baby steps to make you feel better and more confident about yourself. You are amazing, we are amazing, and we can do amazing things. So let's shoot for those goals and thrive and grow and glow together. So number 4 is all about that glow up. We're not glowing up for anyone else but ourselves. I don't want you to be like, oh my god, I'm gonna get the hottest body, I'm gonna look amazing, and then I'm gonna show my ex what he's missing or she's missing. None of that. We are not doing any of those things to impress our ex or try to get their attention. No, we're doing this for ourselves, okay? We want to feel good for ourselves. We want to give off that radiating positive energy, okay? Nothing to do with trying to show off to other people. This is all about you and making yourself feel good. Tip number 4 is to get up, get dressed, look good, feel good. At the beginning of a breakup, you're most likely gonna be just in your gross selfness and kind of just basking in that. And honestly, that's okay. You could be in your sweats, hoodies, whatever, hair messy, not showered right away. Fine. I understand you're kind of going through something, okay? We're dealing with it. We're trying to process and grieve. Fine. Now, when we've gotten past that point and through it, we're going to hit a point where we're like, okay, I don't want to be in this slump anymore. I want to kind of pick myself back up. And getting dressed, showering, and all those things are the perfect way to do so. On a daily basis, I try my best to look presentable. Not to anyone else, but for myself, because it makes me feel good, even if I'm just staying at home. For you, it might be doing your hair, it might be showering, it might be putting on makeup, or wearing some sort of fancy outfit at home. Honestly, go for it. Who is anyone to judge you for doing that? This is a side note, even though I've said take your time getting to this point, which is correct, but also a side note that if you start this process of getting up, getting dressed, look good, feel good process a little sooner, it helps speed up the process. And you may not even feel as good when you're doing it if you're doing this early on. I get it. But sooner or later, there's something in the mind that makes it click. And you're just like, oh, you know, this is self-love. And that's exactly what it is. It's self-love. You want to give yourself that love. You need to build on that and give yourself that energy, because once you love yourself, you can love so many people out there. It all starts within you. So give yourself that self-love back, because honestly, when you're going through a breakup, you're going to feel like that love has been ripped out of you. But honestly, you have your own love, and give yourself more of that. When you're outside or even inside your house, you want to be having your shoulders back and your head held high. That allows for good energy to come in. And I know I'm talking a lot about this energy and maybe you don't believe in it, but trust me, allowing yourself to open up allows for good energy to enter. When you're closed off, you're not welcoming anything in. You're deflecting it. And that's a little bit on body language. The last tip for you guys is tip number 5, and it is to accept, reflect, and be grateful. In the beginning, you're not going to really see this, okay? Sometimes you can, sometimes you won't, but most of the time you're probably not going to be able to focus on these things. But there will come a time when you're fully over this breakup and you're thriving, whatever, or getting to that point. You're just at the tail end of like, I'm almost over this person. So when you get there, I like to definitely accept what has happened. The acceptance probably happened a while ago, but to fully accept what has happened. Accept that, you know, this is a breakup. This happened in my life and it sucked. And then I like to reflect on it. So as cheesy as this is gonna sound, there was kind of like a trailer that plays through my head really quickly of like the relationships, like the quick points. And this showed me all of the good things as well as all of the bad things. So the good things I'm super grateful for, as well as the bad things. I know that sounds surprising, but the good things point out what you want in a relationship, what is good, what you may want in your next relationship if you decide to get into another one down the line. And the bad things also show you what you don't accept, what you find disrespectful, what you will not have in your next one, or will not allow for that matter. Maybe your ex was on Instagram and they were following these very provocative profiles and liking them, and you felt very uncomfortable. You brought it up over and over again and they still kept doing it, and you said that was very disrespectful. That's something that you're not going to accept in your next relationship, okay? You don't want to be going through that hurt again. Maybe that person emotionally abused you. You know, they made you feel like you were worth less than what you are. Okay, and all of those things that come with that's a whole other topic, but I'm just saying that there are things that you will not accept in your next relationship and that you've learned from this previous one. So you're going to take note of these things, the good and the bad things, and you're going to mentally list them out. Maybe you want to write down the pros and cons of that relationship, or maybe even if you've had several prior to, and that list will actually show you what you're looking for in a relationship and show you what you're not looking for. Amazing. Lessons learned. You know, you've just gained all this information. So that then leads you to the gratitude aspect of this. Be grateful. Although it may sound weird to be grateful for all the negatives, but those negatives have taught you lessons on what you're looking for next or what you will not accept later on. It tells you a little bit more about yourself as well. I'm super grateful for all of the good and bad times as well, although the bad times really sucked, but I've learned from them and I've grown from them, and that's so important. Growth is so important. Do not rush into any of these steps. You know, these are just things that I've learned from my experiences and tips that might help someone else because they're the things that I did, but do not rush into them, because rushing through and not fully processing what's going on, you're just gonna end up taking steps back. So make sure you're actually going through them and working through the steps, okay? Don't be trying to hop over things because it's gonna bite you in the butt in the end, okay? One thing at a time. All right, guys, so that is the end of this video. I hope that you learned a tip or two and will be able to apply it to your situation. And remember that I am not a coach or a therapist whatsoever. These are just things from my experience that I've learned from and wanted to share. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you like the video and want to see more content, and click on that subscribe button and notification bell so you're aware of when I upload next. Thank you so much for watching. Take care, be safe, be kind to yourself, and I'll see you guys in my next video.